Coming up this morning, the Trump administration reportedly looking to use the CHIPS Act funding for its potential stake in Intel. Our Kristina Partsinevelos is watching that in today's Tech Check. Morning again, KP.
Good morning, Carl. Well, talk of the U.S. government taking an equity stake in Intel sounds dramatic. But for investors, it doesn't really solve the company's core issue, catching up in advanced chip manufacturing. In July, Lip-Bu Tan, the CEO of Intel, told employees Intel's advanced manufacturing would only move forward with, quote, confirmed customer commitments and, quote, no more blank chips. Blank checks. It was a direct signal to Washington, though. Without outside orders, Intel wouldn't build. The message landed after Tan's meeting also with President Trump. Intel has already received billions in CHIPS Act funding under President Biden. Now under President Trump, he's considering more support in the form of an equity stake, potentially funded through existing CHIPS Act money. Intel told me they wouldn't comment on that. But Intel still lags TSMC and Samsung in producing the most cutting-edge chips that power AI. Wedbush highlights key concerns with this potential equity stake. Federal investment won't improve Intel's fab capabilities in the near term. And then what strings are attached? Will shareholders face dilution? Federal cash doesn't change the fact that Intel needs both the technology and the customers to fill those fabs profitably. For the market, this may provide short-term support on political headlines. The stock has been up for the 6 past days, the longest winning streak since 2024. But without a fix, its manufacturing gap continues. The long-term upside remains limited. Washington's money may boost sentiment, but it won't fix the fundamental problem for Intel.
Yeah, and another thing too, Kristina, is the Wall Street Journal kind of highlighted some tension between the CEO and his board. I'm curious what you make of those headlines and kind of how this new reporting surrounding a stake in Intel by the government plays a role in that.
Yeah, the tension has been ongoing for quite some time. Lip-Bu Tan used to be part of the board. He stepped down, and then he rejoined once he became CEO back in March. The issue is that Lip-Bu Tan wants to cut costs, and potentially, and that would impact the foundry business, but the board was even considering spinning it off completely, which is why we saw all of those rumors about Intel taking, or I should say TSMC taking a stake. So there is definitely two angles as to how they're going to deal with the foundry business, which has been losing a lot of money. And Lip-Bu Tan came in with the mindset that he was going to cut costs. We saw that with the amount of employees that have been unfortunately let go, and we're seeing that with the warning in July, him saying that they are willing to, forego the more advanced 14A manufacturing process if they don't get external customers. That was a signal to the market that, hey, maybe they'll become a fabless company. Or it was also a signal to President Trump, if you don't help us, we're not going to help you build manufacturing in America and provide all those jobs. So there's many ways to look at it, but there's definitely tension with the CEO and the board members.
All right. KP, any doubt in your mind that Intel fab delays were at least a piece of the guidance that we got out of AMAT?
Well, with Applied Materials, a lot of that, yes, I would say with the leading edge, there was one part of the guidance where they said that there was nonlinear demand from leading edge customers, and that would most likely be TSMC, Samsung, SK Hynix to a certain degree, and Intel. Primarily, that weight was coming from TSMC because they dominate within that world. But yes, I do think that the slowdown, delays in Ohio played a big role. Every time a company says they're not going to build out a big fab, you have a trickle effect across the supply chain, and that does affect equipment makers like Applied Materials. And that's why you're seeing that stock down dramatically today with their guide.
Yeah, a bunch of cross currents all within chips kind of swirling around today. Kristina, thank you. Kristina Partsinevelos.